So honored you would tune in. Big shout out to the boys over at the, let me just call it Leon's. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Is that a back alley place or something?
It's something for guys. That's all I'm going to say. It's called Leon's.
Just guys?
It's the smoke zone. Do you smoke cigars?
In this day and age, you can do stuff just for guys? What's wrong with you?
You know, we're going to talk about that because we have somebody here that can answer our questions, but I don't want to introduce you
I
yet.
didn't mean to break up your chain of thought. Go ahead and do your introduction.
I don't have a chain of thought. The show is called The Business Life. 20 years doing the show. Jim Piccirillo and the Coach Ron Tunick. So today's a special show. We're going to talk about you, ladies and gentlemen. Going to talk about how you're going to find a new job, and you got to write a resume, right, Kathleen?
That's right.
You got to write a
Have
resume.
to have one.
We're going to talk about how to lose weight.
Can't cheat on resumes anymore either. You know how it used to be able to just like load it up with all this stuff you did.
No, it's a
now
good
they
point.
They check it out
Now
now,
they can
right?
check,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you wait till we get to the subject and we'll get into it? Then we're going to talk about losing weight. There's a company called Health Wage. I think for me, the most weight I've ever lost. I bet a guy $1,000. I lost 20 pounds. There's a company that's like a bookie for people like me that are a little pudgy, and I want to lose how much weight do you want to lose, Jimmy?
I'd like to lose 25 pounds. The most I've ever lost was 43, though.
What do you weigh? You're about 240?
I'm about 243 this morning.
I'm 235. So, why don't you think I weigh 235?
I was joking.
That's what I
was
weigh.
kidding. You're a svelte 235.
I've got no caboose. As you get older, you lose your caboose. Anyway, we're going to talk about weight.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk about your favorite subject, movies. Mine, too. I'm a Netflix freak.
Yes, you are.
Addicted to Netflix. Every night I watch Netflix. But the Oscars were announced today, so we're going to talk about – you saw the movies. You saw that movie, Three Signs.
3 billboards outside Ebbings,
was it that
Missouri.
good?
It was really good.
Everybody say that's what's going to win.
Very good. Well, I don't know.
So we'll talk about it in a minute.
They had a big win at SAG the other night. So
Let me introduce a very special lady in my life because very few people, you inspire me, Jimmy. You inspire me. You do. Your life story, who you are, inspires me. I love being around you. I love being around this lady because she inspires me too. Kathleen Bruno, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to KHTS. Welcome back. Well, this is your first time on our show, right?
It is. I'm excited to meet Jim. I'm excited to be back with you, Coach.
Yeah, KHTS, the show is called The Business of Life. So in your segment, I'm trying to get you on daily radio because you can inspire women. When I met you a couple of weeks ago, when you were on Charlene's show at Home with Charlene every Thursday at 2, I guess. Charlene's on at 2.
Charlene's on it too.
Very few people get me motivated. We were talking a little bit about lunch and listening to you on the air. My hair was standing up my arms, and I thought this lady's got to be involved in our community somehow. So we're going to figure it out. When you look at women today, and I talked about it at lunch, men, we're hunters, Jimmy. You and I are hunters. You and I have been hunters all our life.
And you mean
women are more gatherers. That's the old traditional, right, Kathleen?
Well, we're certainly fundamentally different, but I think in this day and age, we're having a tendency to really lean in towards each other and kind of bridge some of those gaps.
Do you think so? I would love that we lean into each other.
It's a good word, lean in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think, if we glean stuff from each other, we just become more well-rounded. And I think it's important for women, in this day and age to really understand fundamentally how strong they are in all different aspects, whether it's emotional, physical, whatever it is. I don't think there's a true sense of how truly strong women can be.
But I think we're all seeing how strong women can be. I mean, just the last 2 or 3 months, the Me Too movement. I've never seen a group of people come together quite as strong as this one is. This is really a big movement. I mean, look at them. Look over the weekend, all the women marches. That was amazing.
It absolutely is amazing. I have a fundamental belief that 2 women can pretty much accomplish anything. So if you put 200, 2,000, 20,000 together, can you even imagine? But even taking it down to a personal level, not just if you're part of a movement, but even in your day-to-day life, just really understanding how strong you really are and accepting that and being able to use that in your life.
We're both married to very strong women, so we get that part. But the community needs help. They need your inspiration. They need, when you look, and I asked you, who is the number one woman, am I saying it right, Jim? Woman leader. Female in our country, and you nailed it. You said Oprah right off the bat.
Yeah. And
anybody that argues with that doesn't get it.
And regardless of what your feelings are about Oprah, you cannot take away what she has done with her life. So it's pretty incredible from where she started to where she is, regardless of if you just absolutely love her and adore her, absolutely fundamentally can't stand her, you still cannot deny what she's accomplished as a woman.
Now, you described yourself at lunch as a driver. I see myself as a driver. Jim's a driver. I'm more of a grinder. I think you're a grinder too. I say that I take that as a compliment. Is that what a driver? Is that what a driver is?
Yes, and I certainly have a grinder aspect to my personality when it's needed. So what a driver, and I was told I was a driver, it resonated with me, so I went with it. And what that means is, it's hard to quantify, but there's something inside of you that just consistently pushes you forward and pushes you to be better, try to help people be better, go to the next thing, and it doesn't extinguish. It's not a light that extinguishes. You just fundamentally have this need to move forward.
But and that's important. But a lot of people that are grinders and drivers don't always pull the next person up. You look at a person like Oprah, like you were just talking about. She actually brings people along with her. She motivates. She's an inspirational person. A lot of grinders and drivers are only concerned about themselves. And I think, we've all been around that kind of person. It's just type A, man. They're just going for it no matter what. It's all about them.
Well, there's all different kinds of drivers, I would think. There's got to be a spectrum, and there's drivers that just drive for themselves, and then there's drivers that drive for multiple people. So I think they're all, just depends who you want to be inside being a driver.
Does everybody have that? I mean, I don't know if I want everybody. No, they don't.
No.
But how do you become successful? And I'm not talking about successful financially. I'm talking about winning in life. When I do my workshops, I always talk about winning versus, making money. Winning is having a sense when your head hits the pillow at night that you created some value, that you personally think you have value, and that you're doing something not only for the good of yourself, but just what you said, Jimmy, for the good of humanity. That makes sense?
It totally makes sense. We kind of live by what we call the 5 F's in our family, like 5 categories. And we really feel like if you're not doing your best in all 5 categories, then you're not living the best life that you can. And I think not everybody can be a driver, but you can certainly, if you're an analytical and you become super proficient at a certain skill, you can become more of a driver, because with the confidence brings a desire to push forward.
Interesting.
What are the 5 X's, or what are the 5?
The 5 F's, the 5 X's. That's a whole nother show.
You got to tune into her show.
You got to buy that.
It's going to be the Kathleen Bruno show.
Oh, okay.
And you got to sign up for her newsletter.
Tantalizing.
Look at, even Cody's writing her name down. He's going to be listening to her show. So let's have a little fun for a second. So the Oscars, which I've not seen one. Have you seen any of the movies that are out?
You know what? I didn't see this morning who got nominated, so you'd have to read them to me.
I don't know.
I got them right here.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Best Picture: Call Me by Your Name.
Did you see it?
No.
Darkest Hour.
Nope.
But Jimmy, did you see
Dunkirk? I have not seen those 3.
I haven't seen any of the ones. I'm looking at them now. I haven't seen any of them.
Get Out. I saw that. It's great.
Oh, I thought you were saying that to me because I haven't
Get
seen any of
Out.
them.
Lady Bird. I saw that. Really quirky and cool.
Well, to go slow here. So who's the star of Get Out?
Well, it's a Jordan Peele, the comedy duo, Key and Peele, the 2 black guys, the comedy duo. Jordan Peele, half of that, is the director of this film, and it's a dark comedy horror film. It is awesome. It is really, really well done. Lady Bird, I saw that, and I can't think of the
What's that about?
It's about a young teenage girl. Very quirky. I actually watched it with my young daughter, and it reminded me a lot of her. It's a coming of age story. A young girl lives in Sacramento, and she's quirky. She gives herself her own name of Lady Bird, and she doesn't like Sacramento. She doesn't like her community. She yearns to go out into the world. She wants to live in New York, and she's applied to all these schools in New York, but her family can't afford it, so it causes a few problems with mom and dad. But it's a really good coming of age story. Real small film, but it's surprising.
Okay.
The Post with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. Loved that film.
He did not get nominated.
No, I
Did
don't think
Meryl get nominated?
No. Yes, she did. Meryl Streep got nominated. I'll read those in a minute, the actresses and stuff. But The Post is a great story and very, very important right now. It's about the Washington Post's decision in the early 70s to publish the stolen Pentagon Papers.
Yeah.
And it was the government, Nixon's White House tried to shut down. It's their battle against shutting down the free press. And
all the lying and cheating and stealing that went on about Vietnam was disclosed in these papers.
that's right, the Pentagon Papers.
You're listening
Followed by Watergate.
Yeah, you're listening to Business Live. Jim Piccirillo and the coach, 20 years doing the show on award-winning KHTS Radio. Don't forget, you can listen online at hometownstation.com. And we have the best radio app. Kathleen, have you downloaded our app yet?
I have not, but I'm going to do that today.
Please. It's a great radio app. Just go to the App Store and download KHTS 1220 AM. Our show brought to you by Title Boxing. Have you been over there yet? This is an amazing new way. You and I should go there to lose weight.
Boxing is fantastic.
But you're not
exercise.
hitting anybody. You're hitting the bag.
Yes.
And in 30 minutes, it's like an hour and a half at the gym.
That's got to be a great workout.
It's
It is.
mainly women. It's like 70% women.
Wow.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's fabulous stress relief too. I was a kickbox instructor for many years,
Yeah.
so you get the cardio aspect, you get the stress relief. It's a whole thing, and you get the sense of community because you're in there with other people.
Title Boxing over there across the street from Best Buy. All right, back to the Oscars. So the Post, okay, that was good too.
Yeah, it's a great film. I don't think it'll win. The Shape of Water was also.
What's that about?
That is, man, that's a tough one. I just did the Producer Guild Awards Saturday night, so I saw all these films, saw the producers. Didn't see the films there, obviously, but saw the people involved with them. And the producer they actually won. Shape of Water won the best film at the Producer Guild Awards. And he got up and he said, "Man, this was a tough pitch. It's basically about a deaf cleaning lady who falls in love with a fish."
Wow.
See, Cody, the whole world is open to you, pal. I mean, a deaf lady falls in love with a fish. Okay.
Well, a fish person, I believe.
In a laboratory. It's some kind of, but anyway. But apparently it's beautifully shot.
I will not be watching that movie.
Well,
Did you like it?
Each to his own. I have not seen that one.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
And the last one nominated is Three Billboards
Now, tell me
Outside
about that movie.
Ebbing,
yeah,
Missouri.
I like that.
Love that film. It's Woody Harrelson and Frances McDormand and, God, what's the guy?
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell,
Yeah.
who won Best Actor the other night. He's finally getting his due.
What's the movie about?
It's about a lady, Frances McDormand. Her daughter is kidnapped and murdered in this small town in Missouri. She feels the police department isn't doing enough to solve the murder, so she rents 3 large billboards on the highway leading into town and lays out her questions to the chief of police, who is Woody Harrelson.
Wow.
Yeah, and ultimately, I bet they're not amused with that.
They are not, but it's, she's tough. She stands her ground. Woody is tough, but he's fair. He ends up, I don't want to tell the whole story, but,
Now, you're a member of SAG and all these other fancy.
I am not. I'm not an actor. That's Screen
Well,
Actors Guild.
oh, well,
SAG is Screen Actors
Well, how did
Guild.
you get to see the movies?
My
You
wife's in the DGA, and we get screeners.
didn't- Oh, sorry.
So out of all these, which would you pick?
Out of the ones nominated, now I did not see Dunkirk, but my son saw it. I saw the Post. I thought it was great. I think Three Billboards would get it, but personally, my favorite out of all this is Get Out.
What's Get Out about?
It's about a young urban couple, Allison Williams, and she's white, and she takes her black boyfriend home to meet her parents.
Okay.
And it has the traditional things you would think with that situation. Her family's kind of this Connecticut or Massachusetts upscale, all-white community. So there's but it turns into a horror film, and it is.
Wow.
It is wild. And that's why it's called Get Out.
Ooh, I'm not in. Are you into horror films?
I am not. Nope.
Me either. Me,
That
I
is
gotta
not
have
one of my things.
I'm like a Disney guy. I gotta have like
I like a happy ending.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
It's not very violent or gory. It's more of kind of like psychological,
It's like
body swapping
Hitchcock.
stuff.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Hitchcock horror.
I mean, it's a horror
Terror.
movie nominated for Best Picture, which just never happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Well, I like intrigue. I just don't like horror. So
Oh, it's got some great twists, doesn't it, Cody?
Yeah, it's not like a very kind of like slasher,
Yeah,
people
it's
dying
not-
kind of
Right,
movie.
yeah.
It's a lot more, like I said, it's a body swapping
suspense
kind
and-
of thing.
Yeah.
I like suspense.
I like Who Done It. Is it a little bit of Who Done It too?
A little bit more kind of like psychological horror, like what's going on, less of like a
It's like a Hitchcock, modern day Hitchcock
Yeah.
film.
So is there a twist at the end?
yeah, so to speak. I mean, it's not quite the lady vanishes. It's not like
Yeah.
that kind of movie.
you
but,
kind of see it coming near the end.
All
what's
right, so
gonna
your
happen.
Well done,
favorites,
though.
Get
Very well
Out.
done.
What's your favorite, Cody?
I only saw like 4 movies that came out this year. Get Out's the only one nominated. My favorite was still Blade Runner 2049. My favorite for the year.
Now you go sit both. Well, you don't. You get to watch when your wife's a member or whatever. Do you watch it? How do you watch the movies on your TV? You have a code or something?
Well, no, they send you physical DVDs, but they just
Nice.
started this year
Nice.
also giving you codes to links, and you
Thanks for sharing
go to
with
the link.
me.
I can't. I'm legally not allowed to share them with
Now
you.
you actually go sit in the movie theater.
No, actually the opposite. I have not been to movie theater, and
Well, how do you watch the movies?
I wait for them to come out on home video and get them that way.
He's a millennial. They download them.
Yeah, I waited patiently about 8 months to watch Blade Runner. I really wanted to see it, but I did not want to go to the theater. So
Now, and I'm a little bit like Howard Hughes. I wouldn't go sit in the movie theater. I wouldn't even get within 10 feet of somebody that's even sniffing.
Oh my gosh, I'm the opposite of all of you. I can't wait to get to the movie theater. I can't wait to get the popcorn. I can't wait to be squished in with all the people and have the whole night away and not think about anything except what's happening on the screen.
Different, huh?
And it's a great way to view. The traditional way of viewing a film is with a bunch of people. You go through the same reactions.
Yeah, you
together.
feed off their energy, and it's more. I just find
I
that
love,
it's a
I
little
love the movies.
escape.
Don't get me wrong. I would and will go and continue to go.
I put on pause. I go to the restroom. I get my little snack, and I'm by myself.
Fall
watching
asleep. You
Netflix.
rewind it. You
No, I
pick back up
I don't
the next
fall
day.
asleep. I'm watching Peaky Blinders now on Netflix.
I want to just say one more thing about The Post, though. That is a brilliant film, and I was a journalism major. I worked in news forever, and I've got this thing. This is such it's such an important film right now, especially, and I don't want to get too political, but if you look at the Trump White House compared to the Nixon White House, there's so many similarities with the interference of the free press and just today the interference with the Justice Department. There's a lot of things going on now that parallel that era, and that resulted in a president being impeached. So, I think people should keep their eye on the ball and see what's going on. This is a great movie to watch with all the president's men back to back. So,
All right, that's our. As we get closer to the Oscars, you'll probably watch more movies, and we'll do a little more in-depth review. Show's called The Business Life. It's award-winning KHTS. You're listening every Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Fabulous guest in the studio. Her name is Kathleen Bruno. I'm not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most successful females, people, human beings I've ever met. She happens to be also the most successful realtor. Am I saying it right? Or is it realtor? How do you say it?
Realtor.
Realtor in Santa Clarita. It's amazing what she's accomplished. I guess
what company with?
I'm with Century 21.
Oh, okay.
Troop. Don't you say Troop anymore?
I do. Century 21 Troop Real Estate.
Yeah, you said Century 21. Put Troop in there.
What does that mean? What does Troop mean?
Well, initially it was
the
a
name of
company started by Brian Troop, and
okay.
he had 14 franchises, and now he's linked with Century 21. So the true title is Century 21 Troop Real Estate.
How does one go about? It's 2 minutes, and we got to take another break.
I said peace, brother.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
The
peace
show
be with
brought
you.
to you by Title Boxing. It's a different way for you to grow your self-confidence right across the street from Best Buy. When we get back from break, Kathleen Bruno, I want to get into, it's January. This is when people change jobs, change careers, change lives, dump their boyfriend, their girlfriend. They start their life over. So think about how you're going to answer the question that I'm going to ask you. How can you change your life in 2018 to have the winning life that we all want? So think about that question, and you'll give us the answer. You have a winning life. You have a winning life.
I do, and I love it, and I want everybody else to have the same winning life. Not exactly the same, but their own version of what their winning life is.
So when we get back from break, you got to share with us how we're going to do that. All right, Cody, let's do the Millennial Minute before, so we don't interrupt Kathleen's time. What do you got?
Okay.
Got a new haircut. That's what you got.
I did get a haircut.
I asked him if Supercut, if he was.
Where
mad
did you
at
go to get
Supercuts.
that? Did your mommy do that haircut?
No. I
That's
went.
brutal.
I went to Sports Clips, and it was,
Oh yeah.
it was
Who
nice.
did it? I know the ladies over there. Who did it? Do you know?
Truthfully, I have no idea.
Chair number 2.
Yeah. Nice young lady.
Okay.
narrows it
Okay,
down at all.
they do a nice job over there at Sports Clips.
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
Okay, so what's your Millennial Minute?
I guess you know what? I'll follow up on last week and keep it short. I guess the Wests came out with the name of the newest kid, Chicago West, the youngest member of the West family. So best
He's
wishes to
talking
them.
about Kanye. And
Yeah, Kanye and Kim.
Kim.
So best wishes to them and, Chicago West.
You're like obsessed with that. I can't believe that you'd even think about that for
His
another
whole
week.
generation is obsessed with
Yeah,
that.
I am a big Kanye West fan. I think Kanye and Kim are great. And,
I
wish
could-
them all the best.
I like.
What does Kanye do? I mean, like, really?
He's
What is-
he's a producer and artist and performer.
Right.
And fashion designer,
Yeah.
shoe designer.
Jim, in the
Multi-hyphenate.
home, in your home, you don't even. Do you allow the Kardashians in your home?
I don't disallow or allow anything. My kids watch what they want to watch,
Yeah. Well,
Admittedly, I don't
We're
watch
never in the
show.
same room together. I don't know what everybody watches,
so Kanye is a singer, a rapper. What is he?
Yeah, he does a lot of things. Most, famously, he's
He never
performer.
smiles. Every time I see a picture of him, he's always frowning. He's got this mean look on his face.
He smiles sometimes. He's definitely an interesting individual, but good entertainer because of it. A little bit eccentric, I guess you would say, but,
And they're on their
comes out
third
good.
kid in what, 4 years?
Yeah, this one was done with a surrogate, however, which is kind of why I just kinda-
Interesting,
Yeah, I had no
yeah.
idea they're having one. All of a sudden, it just came out. They have a new kid, so came up.
So someone else had the baby?
Yeah,
Kim didn't have it.
Yeah,
No.
someone else carried
You never
it
heard of
forward.
that, Jimmy?
I've heard of it. I'm just
have you?
curious.
I think Kim had her
why-
few, and she's like, "That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
doing
it,
this
huh?
anymore."
But I love the name Chicago. I love Chicago. I have an office there, and I love the name.
Yeah, and one thing when they have it listed,
What's the other ones? Northwest,
there's Northwest,
Chicago
Chicago
West,
I cannot remember the third one's name.
Southwest?
Maybe something like that. Can you get your staff when we take a
All
break
of
to
my
come
staff
back?
are
The millennial
home,
staff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. The show is called The Business Life, 20 years doing the show on award-winning KHTS. Don't forget, you can listen on hometownstation.com. And when we come back, her name is Kathleen Bruno. She's going to tell us how you can have the best 2018, maybe the best time you've ever had in your life in winning in life. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Title boxing, it's a brand new way for to me, I'm raving about it because self-confidence, and you have it, Kathleen. You ooze self-confidence. So if you go to title boxing, not hitting anybody, you're not boxing anybody. They have trainers there, and you're hitting bags, kickboxing, and they're right across the street from Best Buy. I think the best part about that whole thing is discipline. I suffer from a lack of discipline, and I think learning how to discipline yourself is so important. But let's talk about 2018. This is the month, including Jim's trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight. We're all trying to do something.
I'm not just trying to lose weight. I'm trying to just get healthy in general. Change my lifestyle.
Yeah, and they just kind of go together.
I eat and drink like an escaped convict. So
How do you do it? I mean, you are one of the most successful people I've ever met, Kathleen Bruno. How did you grow? I mean, were you born with this success model? Or did you learn how to be successful?
I think I was born with the drive, but just born with the drive doesn't do it. So everybody wants to be better, I have to imagine. But sometimes that just sounds exhausting or, quite frankly, boring. So you have to make a decision of how you're going to combat that, I think. And there's different strategies you can use, but one of the strategies I use, I think it's time tested, is you take any difficult task that you really don't want to do, and you just break it to a smaller task. So if it comes down to, say, you writing a resume, like that doesn't sound fun, that doesn't sound enjoyable, it sounds daunting, it sounds like a long, arduous process. But I think if you made a decision that I'm going to write 3 things down on a flashcard today that's going to be on my resume, and I only have to write 3 things. So if you did 3 things today, 3 things tomorrow, by the end of the week, you're looking pretty good. So I think you take any task and you break it down into smaller, manageable things that were workable. That makes sense.
Well, I have to renew my driver's license, and I have to take a test, and I'm having anxiety like right this minute.
I mean, like a written test or
Yeah.
a physical where you go out and park a car test?
No, a written test. And I asked Kathleen at lunch, so how do I break
So
that
same
test down?
concept. You go and get the book, or you download whatever it is online that they have you study from, which looks, again, exhausting. And you take what you think may or may not be on the test, and maybe you write 3 or 4 things on a flashcard or a piece of paper, and you just work with those 5 concepts or 5 topics or 5 questions that day. Then the next day you do 5 more. Sitting down and reading the whole book and trying to memorize it, ugh. But really breaking it down small.
But I
Can
did
I bring
it.
the flashcards
It's-
into the DMV?
You can.
You
Yeah.
can?
Yeah, it's all common sense too. Like when you get, I just did this a couple years ago. When you get into DMV, there's so many people taking that test, and you can just take it over if you fail it. But it's common sense. Once you start, it's just like when you're a kid in school and you start reading the multiple choice. It all makes sense, except when it gets into distances like 65 feet, 75 feet. Those are a little tricky.
Yeah, they're more concrete. So those are kind of what you put on a flashcard.
Right.
What is the distance
The
for
school
this?
buses, I'm just scared to death of this test. The school bus is going up the hill. The lights are flashing. Never mind. Kathleen Bruno is her name. All right,
Speed up
so
to 80 and go around it. Oh, wait a minute.
yeah, that's not the answer. The show's called The Business of Life. We have Kathleen Bruno here. Jim Piccirillo and I have been doing the show 20 years. Let me ask you a question. So I love what you just said. So first of all, I'm going to buy flashcards because I get that concept. And then I keep the flashcard in front of me today, right?
Yeah, you just make a commitment to make 5 a day. And so you make 5 today, you throw them in the car with you, you stopped at a stoplight, you're sitting here on a break, what have you. You're just looking them over. You don't have to have this huge amount of time dedicated to doing something, because if you're a type A personality or if you're just a busy individual, you don't want to sit down and do that. So you make things that work for your lifestyle.
Hey, let me ask you something. Getting back to resumes. So it's first of the year. Everybody's trying to change jobs. Resumes have changed so much through the years, I would imagine. What are employers looking for? When you actually do a resume, should it be 1 page, 2 page? I mean, how do they, I was talking to my buddy, Brian Mackey, who's probably listening today, who's a recruiter.
Big shout out to you,
search
Brian.
recruiter. And, there's a whole process now how people go and get jobs and how you apply for a job and what recruiters are looking for and how much information has to be stacked near the top, or they just toss it, What are you trying to do on a resume?
Well, you're trying to be concise, and you're trying to convey who you are in a most concise manner, I would think.
But how do you get them to read it? How do you get, if a guy's looking through 50 resumes, do you think he's going to sit and read all 50, or does he just kind of,
No,
what catches their attention?
I think he's got an idea of what he wants also. And so when he's looking through something, you need to really have it lined out of who you are and what you want. And so that draws their attention. So if whatever your goal is, that's kind of your lead, I'm imagining.
Well, you also can have 10 resumes for each resume should be very specific to that job. I think as somebody who's employed hundreds of people over the years, I'm looking for that one person to answer me how you're going to be more productive. So that's, as an employer, I want to know how you're going to make me money.
I
Right,
agree.
Kathleen?
And same thing as a realtor. So I don't want to see, and you don't want to hear when I come to your house to list your house, oh, this is about me, this is about me, this is about me. What you want to hear when I come to list your house is how I can help you, how I can get you to the finish line of what you want to do. And it's the same thing with any job I imagine you're looking for.
Not on $1 Million Listing, L.A. I love that show.
I do love that show.
Hey, what's the, you said you hired a lot of people. Do you remember any resume you've ever gotten, like the best one? I want to tell you the best one I ever got.
This is going to sound terrible. I never looked at the resumes, and I'd always get in trouble with my HR department. I wanted to meet people like Kathleen. I wanted to hear them speak. I wanted to see their eye contact. I wanted to see their body language. I would ask questions, and I wanted to hear their answers. And the first question I would ask them is, have you done your research on my company? And if they said no, they're gone. They're done.
That's a good point. How many people show them don't even know what they're applying for, what the company is
It's
about?
amazing. I'm shocked that people wouldn't do their research on my company, research on me, because you can Google my name. I'm not hard to research.
You can now. You couldn't maybe then, though.
That's true.
You
But
gotta-
I agree with Coach. When I was putting my team together, to me, it could say anything on paper. What's on paper has very little to do sometimes with who the person really is. So you might look amazing on paper and then walk in and I'd be like, huh? Or vice versa. So I think that you can't take out the human element.
So I want to tell you the best resume I ever got.
I wanna hear.
In the entertainment.
We all want to hear. Don't you want to hear it,
I
Kathleen?
want to hear. I'm
Sitting-
excited.
Sitting at my desk one day, and a FedEx guy comes in with a box about this big. I open it up, and it's a giant fortune cookie. I'm like, what the heck? Crack that thing open. It's a young lady's resume.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I called her up immediately. Don't know what
That's
you do. You're
awesome.
creative enough for me. Come on in.
Wow.
That's
so was it
awesome.
was it made out of dough, the fortune cookie?
She'd found a fortune cookie company,
Oh,
a real
my
fortune
goodness.
cookie. I mean, and seriously, it's like the size of a football.
That's
in the
awesome.
package, in the wrapper, the whole bit. So you naturally are so interested, you just tear it open, crack that thing open, and pull out the resin.
Well, Coach, that goes back to what we were talking about last week also, where successful people are willing to do what other people aren't.
Right.
Someone else might have not had enough confidence to go get a fortune cookie and thought, oh, the guy's going to think I'm crazy. But when you want to be successful, you have to do what other people are not willing to do.
But we need mentors like you, Kathleen. That's why you're going to be doing your radio show. I would say most people don't know what to do. I mean, here's a young man right here, Cody Como, 25 years old.
Hi,
He's
Cody.
taking notes on what you're saying, and I think he's going to be putting a resume together. What do you want to do after you get
trying to get
fired
rid of
from
him?
this job? No, I love him.
Yeah,
for this
shoot. I
job.
don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Cody, we need to talk to you after the show.
But
I guess I'm not in your resume
Cody,
soon.
you're 25 years old. Don't you need, the three of us have done pretty good in life, so any one of us could help you improve your life. What would be the question you'd ask any one of the three of us?
Oh, well, it's a big one on the spot. I guess biggest.
Where do
thing-
you get a fortune cookie? No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. What did the resume say?
Jasmine's Bakery. What are you talking about? Right next door.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess a big question like that would just be simply kind of like, how do you know when you're going the right way? You know, how do you know when you found where you want to go, and not
Great
just kind
question.
of, I guess I'm doing this now.
Let's ask Kathleen. How do you know? So you have all these choices in life. How do you know? That's a great
Well,
question.
I'll tell you, the first thing that came to mind is because you stopped asking that question. So if you're sitting in a radio studio and you're just looking around going, oh my gosh, I'm here, I've arrived, I'm just going to be amazing at this, and I'm just going to keep going. If you're still asking yourself, how will I know, then this isn't it.
It's a good answer.
I don't ever wake up and say, how do I know, because I'm doing it. But for many years I did. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Definitely question myself.
Wow. The show is called The Business of Life. So I agree. If you're still thinking about you're not in the right position, right?
That's right.
So I'm still thinking I still want to play left field for the Dodgers, but now I'm aged out.
So now you have
Not
to think about
necessarily.
other things.
You know, here's the thing, though.
Not necessarily.
One of my first jobs was in radio, and I left it for many, many, many years. And now, as an old guy, here I am back on the radio. But 2 weeks ago, I started taking these online classes called masterclass.com. You're never too young to keep learning, right?
Jim, I want to be the left fielder for the Dodgers.
So-
We have Puig and right. We have Chris Taylor in
You
center.
physically will never, ever be able to do that. You know that.
How about DH? Can we compromise? Can you DH maybe a little bit? Playing some L Parks?
One of the master classes is Steph Curry teaching you how to shoot a basketball, and I'm actually taking it, even though I know that, I just want to understand and know how he shoots a basketball. I know that it's not going to really help me. I'm not going to get out there and do it.
I've got to talk to you off air. Do you have hoops at your house?
No, I don't.
So where are you going to practice shooting a basketball?
Out at the elementary school across the street.
Oh my God! The show's called The Business Life. Kathleen Bruno is our very special guest. All right, let's focus in on 2018. We opened up the show with you being accused of being a driver, which is a compliment. I would say I'm a driver too, but I've always said I'm a grinder. I don't give up. I don't quit. Can't say I don't take no for an answer. Jim, you're the same way.
Not necessarily.
You know?
No.
Really?
I think I'm a driver, but I don't. I'm in my life. I'm definitely one of those people. I'll hang with it long enough, but if I see it's not going anywhere, I'll move on to the next whatever opportunity is. I'm a niche guy. I try to reinvent every 2 or 3 years. Try to stay looking forward as to what the next thing is. You can get mired down in doing the same thing every day and think you're doing well, and realize it's all passed you by. So I'm a niche guy.
Let me ask you a question. Patience. You were not patient?
To a point. Again, if it's not paying off and getting me what I'm expecting out of it within a reasonable time, I move on to the next
But that's a
thing.
component of a driver, because somebody more.
I said I think I'm a driver,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'm a grinder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I'm saying because it drives you to the next thing. Some
That's
people
right.
would just stay, and when you're a driver, you're just like, oh, this isn't working, and you're going to drive on to the next thing.
That's right.
But
I'm
it's
a big
interesting.
believer in the door, one closing, one opening. You just go to the next one.
Talking about door
Yeah,
opening.
that's a little spooky.
But it's interesting, Kathleen, what Cody said, because patience is a huge part of being successful, is that too many people quit. Too many people quit just before they're going to make it. And then the next guy comes in and takes over and has a tremendous winning environment in his life. So patience, to me, I didn't have patience as a young person, but going back to what Cody said, how do you know? So if you're not in the right place at the right time, you know, because you're not giving everything like you do. You're a very successful realtor. I bet you take your job home. I bet 7 days a week you're thinking about how to get better. I bet 7 days a week you're thinking how to help more people. And when you're in the right place, my wife said I've been obsessed with winning, but I am. I'm obsessed just like you are, right?
Well, and you have to have a level of discernment. So there's one thing
What's discernment? Big word. What's that? Big word.
Do you stay the course because you do fundamentally believe it's going to pay off at some point? Or do you switch directions because you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole? And you need to be able to tell the difference between the two, and that's discernment.
Interesting question. I've been in the same business, merchant processing, for now 37 years. So I've had good times, but I stayed with it, yeah.
Yeah, because you can see it. So if Cody is in a job and he sees that he could rise to the top of that job, but does it make him all excited about it when he sees himself in that position? If not, then he needs to shift. He needs to make a shift to a different occupation.
But I was in an industry.
And it also depends if you want to be an entrepreneur or work in the system,
Good point.
so to speak.
Excellent point.
A lot of people are, the majority of people, I would think, are happy to get a job, start their career, go through life, get a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, but they can't exist if they don't have a paycheck every week or 2 weeks. An entrepreneur is able to see a bigger picture down the road with bigger goals and bigger payoffs, and knows, you talk about patience, knows that you have to be very patient for it to come to you, and you can't get worried or scared when it's not coming your way exactly, as long as you know that you're on the right path, that you have set up the right building blocks to get there. And I think that's really, in a nutshell, I look at people and I can almost always tell if they're tied to their work and they're those people that cannot do without that weekly paycheck, or if they're a person who's not afraid to take on life as an entrepreneur and know that, you may not get paid this week, next week, or 3 weeks, but when it does come, it's usually big and nice.
You're a risk taker?
Definitely.
You're a risk taker?
Definitely.
How do you know when to evaluate whether the risk is worth it, either one of you or both of you? How do you know?
You don't. You have to be willing to step through the fear, because every person is going to come up against the fear and the unknown is scary.
I also think it's time and experience. As a young man, I didn't know. As once you move through a lot of different scenarios and situations, you're able to quickly spot if the risk is worth it or not worth it. At least in my business, I kind of, any project that comes my way, I look at it from a couple of different angles, go, could be good, could be bad. But if it's instantly, I know, boy, that's good. I'll jump on it, risk or no risk.
But if you don't know, you have to be brave.
That's right.
I think brave is a big component of being successful.
Yes, Mr. Cody Como. Did you want to say something?
Yes, actually, it's Saint West. That is the name of the third West child.
Oh my
Saint
God!
Really? Time out. The first kid is North, West.
I believe the order would go Northwest, Saint West, Chicago West.
Oh my goodness!
I think Saint might have been before North. It could be either
That
way.
makes total sense when you really put it together.
So Kathleen, what as a realtor, you're with Century 21. Why do you think? Try to answer this in a more of an objective question. Why do you think you've done so well? Are you smarter than the other realtors?
And please be modest.
Yeah.
Oh, too late. No, I don't know if I'm smarter than the other realtors. I don't know what the other realtors or how smart they are, but what I do know is between the drive I have and the desire to take care of people and to be an advocate for people in an industry that doesn't always have that, it's just really lent itself to a lot of referral business and a lot of success. I am absolutely a big proponent for my clients. Nobody gets over on them. My negotiating skills are tight. I continue my education all the time. I continue to be humble and know that I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of them, and the ones I don't have, I'll certainly find.
That word negotiation, when we come back, Jim, you're one of the great negotiators I've ever met in my life. Kathleen, I want to hear from both of you, because if you can't negotiate, you're going to get run over in this world. We're going to come right back. The show is called The Business Life. 20 years doing it. KHTS award winning. You can listen on hometownstation.com, hometownstation.com. We'll be right back. We're in a relationship. I've been married a long time like you have, Jim. every day is a negotiation, every day. And when I was younger, I wasn't very good at it. Now I've become great at it, and my life is just unbelievable because I can say, yes,
What are you
honey,
still
and I'm sorry.
negotiating with her? Really?
Yes, honey, and I'm
Possibly,
sorry.
yeah. That's not negotiating, I hate to
Oh,
tell you.
that's not? Because that's all I got. Yes, honey. Oh,
That's
I'm
waving
sorry.
a white flag and giving up. I mean,
But you, in your business, you had to negotiate big, multi-million-dollar contracts. I'm not patronizing you, but where do you learn to negotiate?
well, I think it's like we were talking during the break. You learn from doing it and being in it, and a few times failing at it. You know, there's a thing. You know, you can. It's like upward failure, if you will. You learn from everything you do, and a couple times you get burned. You won't do it again. You know, you'll remember that the next time you go back in. You learn what to ask for too. You also learn what you need. You know, don't ever undersell. You know, early in life, you always undersell yourself short. You give away your goods, your services, your time, everything because you want to get going. Once you develop a skill or a talent, you know, that is worth something, and you need to learn how to ask for it.
And interestingly enough, people will give it to you when you ask for it, which is interesting. But we use the term a lot, falling forward. So it's okay to mess up.
So do the New England Patriots when they catch the ball, they fall for it. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Sidebar.
Sidebar.
No, I think it's important just as a human being, no matter what you do in life, is to give yourself permission to fail. And when you fail, don't stop and beat yourself up. Just go, oh, I'm not going to do it that way again. I'm not going to, I'll handle it different next time. And that's how you learn.
True. Learn from your mistakes.
But each of you said the same thing in different ways. You have to really get good at something so that in the negotiation, your self-confidence, when you know that you're good, you know you've done your homework, you just said that, and you practice, then when you get in...
Well, you're negotiating from a place
strength.
of confidence. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
again,
and value, knowing your value and your product's value. And once you have a solid foundation
right.
of knowing your value and your product's value, then it actually makes it quite simple.
that's right. You early on, you may not know that. You may be BSing in a meeting. You may be, trying to convince them that you're qualified or your company's qualified or your service is the best service they'll ever find. You may not even know. Once you know, it's kind of like you were speaking earlier. Once you know, when you're in that place, and you negotiate from a place of confidence.
You're still negotiating contracts.
Yes,
aren't you?
but not to the extent I used to have to.
Yeah.
Or my business has changed, a little bit to where, I still have to go in and negotiate what a budget's going to be for a show or a particular event, but within reason. Plus, you have repeat customers and clients who trust you. Now they look for you to guide them. How much is this going to cost? All of a sudden, you're the guy telling them how much it's going to cost, not them telling you how much it's going to cost. So that also helps once you get up some years under your belt.
In real estate, the art of negotiation is everything, isn't it?
Well, it absolutely is. And another thing, humans are programmed to pick up on nuances of other humans. So if you're going to be fake confident, you're going to betray yourself with your body language, your eye movements, so on and so forth. You really need to have a good sense of who you are, what you're doing, and the product that you're trying to move. And that will convey itself not just in your words, but also in your entire body language.
That's why Coach and I always wear dark glasses. You can't see our eyes.
Yeah. When you go into negotiations, you got to have a look, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I went into
hopefully
a
not shifty.
real estate negotiation recently. I put in a couple of bids on a house in Ventura. And it's
didn't call Kathleen
Well, I
Bruno?
was
well, listen, I just want to tell you this
Whoa,
really
whoa,
quickly.
whoa.
Really quickly, you get, you throw in what you think it's worth, and they counter, and then you go, well, and then you counter again. Even though in your mind you've got this ceiling you're not going over, all of a sudden you get caught up in it, and you're like, screw that,
Well, that's emotion. That's desire to win.
I start bidding way more than what I
Yep.
wanted to, and what the house is worth, and before I know it, thank God he still never took my final bid, and I was smart enough to get up and walk
Jim,
away.
But that's emotion, and we count on that.
Exactly.
You have to.
But I'm just saying, and I'm good at negotiating things I know about. I didn't quite know about that, and I got in a situation where I almost got burned.
Well, and that's why it's so important, especially in the biggest transaction of your life, when a lot of times that's real estate.
Have a good realtor.
You want to have a good realtor, not somebody that does 1 or 2 deals a year, not somebody that does it as a second job. This is a big deal because this is your fundamental property.
I agree to that.
From this moment on, you better call Kathleen. You want to stay out of it. You want to just what Kathleen says.
You
want
better
to
call
keep
Saul. You better call Kathleen.
Kathleen Bruno.
We can work on the hook for that one, I
Bum.
think. Yeah.
I thought you were a Netflix guy. Come on, man.
I got it. And I'm not even a Netflix girl.
I'm
That's
shaking.
all he talks about.
I'm
24/7. Netflix.
I could
Every week?
watch Netflix 24/7.
See, I'm scared. I'm scared to start it, and then I'm afraid I'll just binge watch and, stop selling real estate. I'll just sit in the house all
That's
day
what they
long.
want you to do. Hey, did you see the
Yeah.
new Amazon Go store today that you can just walk in? And,
Unbelievable.
And there are lines out the door. I was
Unbelievable.
howling. No, but the point is, you're supposed to be able to walk in without having any.
You walk in, you download the app. Somehow the electronic. It's amazing.
No,
I
but
mean,
people are lining up to do this. The whole idea is you aren't supposed to line up. You're supposed to be able to walk in and get your stuff and go.
you do. You walk in, you show your app to this little robot
I
machine.
get that, but to get in to do that, you have to stand in line. The whole
Well,
point of
because
Amazon
it
Go
was the
is
first
not
day.
to stand in
It
line.
was the first
Yeah.
day that it opened
Well, maybe
up.
the novelty will wear off, and then it'll come.
Yeah,
full
it was the
circle.
first day that it opened up. Jimmy Piccirillo.
It's all right, Jim. I got it. I know what you're saying.
I just found it funny. I don't know.
I saw
the
the same thing.
irony-
I saw
the
Coach
irony.
Jim.
Oh,
The
Cody!
irony.
Breaking
Yeah.
news! I'm getting a car from Rev Up Auto Sports.
Oh, really?
I called the people.
Finally, he's buying a car from us.
I called the people up, and Michael Piccirillo answered the phone, and he is on this thing like unbelievable.
He's good at it, man.
He is really
loves
good
it.
at it.
He loves it.
I cannot. I don't.
Talk about negotiating. You got to
Well,
deal with all the car.
I don't want to
dealers.
go into a car dealership. I don't want to. I said, Michael, can you deliver the car to my house? No problem, Coach. I don't have to do anything. Fill out the paperwork, and he brings the car to my house.
What car?
Coach.
I'm getting a car for my oldest daughter, and I can't tell you what it is right now. I'm going
So-
to try to convince her to go from this car to that car.
What I can tell about Coach, and just in the short time I've known him, is that he is an expert in finding people all over that are at the top of their fields.
He's a people gatherer.
He is. He's a
a
connector. He's
sheepdog.
a
The
Pied
gatherer.
Piper, man.
I'm a sheepdog
So I'm not going to purchase anything else without calling him first. Coach, who should I go to for this?
for the car.
For anything now.
Rev Up Auto Sports for your cars, folks.
Yeah, and I've got to take both of you over to this title boxing. I'm not kidding you. I don't want to do it by myself.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'm serious.
I'll go.
I can
Yeah,
only
we-
box left-handed, though. I have a bad right elbow, so.
Show's called The
I'll whip you with
Business
one
of
hand tied
Life.
behind
See
my
you
back.
next Tuesday. Oh, I'll see you Thursday at 2, right? With Charlene at home. See
Coach
you
has so
Thursday.
many shows going.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.